Hello and welcome to Digital Goulash. My name is Chuckie, and today we're going to take a photo and create an edgy looking piece of art like we have right here. You can see that there's some cross hatching in the background, but the people are nice and focused right in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to create this thing. Now I have to give it a little shameless plug in here. I'm having some issues with my computer, so I've set up a PayPal account. If anybody wants to donate a couple bucks, $1 or $2, it would sure help me get back on the road to making more videos and tutorials. And I'm going to go ahead and set that up with a link, but I'd appreciate any kind of help that you can give me. Now let's go ahead and jump to what this photo looks like before all the cross hatching and the blue tint to it. If you hold down the Alt or Option key whenever you have layers above a standard photo and you click the eyeball, it takes you back to the original photo. So I want you to go out and grab the best photo that you have with maybe a couple people and a few things in the background. This is a real great thing to do, especially if you want to minimize the things in the background. You don't want to draw too much attention to them, and you really want to draw the attention to the people. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to go over here and I want you to use your crop tool, and I want you to make a nice wide crop. And how you do the crop is you just drag it like this, and as you can see there's a dark area, and then you're going to make a nice wide picture or a nice wide crop of your image right there. And when you're done, you're going to go over here and you're going to click on the little green tick mark right there. Now what we need to do is we need to add some of the cross hatching right there. Now I'm going to delete these layers so they don't get you confused right there. I'm going to click the trash can after I highlight them, and we have our original photo right there. Now if you've seen my videos before, you know that I like to start off with duplicating the layer. Now that's a Command or a Control J, depending upon if you have a Mac or PC, and then it's going to duplicate your layer. Now the original one's down there and it's nice and safe. Now we're going to go over to the filter and we're going to go to brush strokes, and then we're going to pick cross hatch. Now what it's going to give us is a dialog box, and what I want you to do is I want you to put a couple of these in the middle, and I want you to increase your stroke length until you start getting a nice cross hatch effect on the background. Now we're going to erase some of this stuff, so don't worry about the people yet. When you have a nice cross hatch look, go ahead and select OK, and what that's going to do is it's just going to change the layer. If you don't believe me, I'm going to turn off the eyeball, and you can see that the original is underneath, safe and sound. Now what we need to do is we need to trace these people, and so one of the easier ways is to grab the lasso tool. If you don't see it, you can click on the third option down, and then you can hold it and you can pick one of these. Now this is more of a straight lasso tool, and this is more of a freehand lasso tool. So I'm going to try my best to draw, and not very well. I can guess that I'm not going to do a very good job, but let's go ahead and try the best I can to draw around these people right there. Now of course you're going to take much more care in doing this than I'm doing it, just because I want to keep this video fairly short. So I'm going to draw around the people that I want to have in focus right there, and I'm going to draw around like that. Okay, so I've drawn around the first one. Now if you hold the Shift key, it will go ahead and you can add a second person to that. And if you had a third person, you can do that as well. Now you have to hold the Shift key and you have to draw around these people. And of course you'll probably have different people, because I took Chris Dilly, one of my friends, took this picture, and I don't think you have this picture. So let's go ahead and change. There we go. Now I've selected those two people. Now a good way to modify this is go up to select, and you can refine that edge by, you don't want a feather, but you can contract or expand this right here and you can make it a little bit nicer. But for right now I'm not going to do that, so I have the people selected. The next thing that you want to do is you want to hold the Control or the Command Shift I, and what that's going to do is it's going to select everything but what was inside the marching ants. Then you're going to come down here to your layer mask tool right there and add a layer mask tool. And as you can see, the people are now popping out of the picture and the rest of the picture is cross-hatched. Now what we need to do is we need to add that kind of a cool blue monochrome look to this, and we're going to do that by adding an adjustment layer. So if you click on the black and white cookie tool right over there and you go to hue and saturation, there is a little box that says colorize. Now once you do that, it gives you the red as a default, but we can change this hue to green or blue or whatever we wanted. Maybe this is for some of our Army folks that are watching, maybe they wanted a little bit more Army look to it, so you can make it a little bit greener. And then if you play around with the saturation, you can make it a lot greener or a little bit less green. And then of course light and dark, you can go ahead and darken it or lighten it however you see fit. And once you're done, you go back to the layers and you can see now that we have the original photo, we have the cutouts of the people, and then we have the hue and saturation layer finally. Now if you want to give this a little bit of contrast to this, you could add one more adjustment layer here, and you could add a brightness and contrast. And what we could do is we could go ahead and give it just a little bit of a contrast here, and maybe even take down the brightness a little bit like that, and then bump up the contrast, and then go back to layers, and there we have it, a brightness and contrast, a hue and saturation, and then this is the cutout, and then your original photos. Hopefully you liked that tutorial. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my videos. Cheers!